Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off this video by giving all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the elder apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, teaching and ruling well. Peace, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect of the house of Israel. All right, Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. So let's get started. And it says here in James 4 and 6, but he giveth more grace. Wherefore he said, the Most High resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to the Most High, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to the Most High, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Verse 10, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. All right? The Lord loves the humble, the meek. That's why it says the meek shall inherit the earth. Okay? Because again, pride, let's get it. Pride is the beginning of sin. It says here in Sirach 10 and 12, for the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High. Okay? In a sense, that's why it says the fool said in his heart, there is no God. Okay, and that is why Edom is considered the most proud. Okay, and after that, the people that are following after his vibration are also proud and foolish. Okay, because they're following someone who doesn't believe in the Most High, who matter of fact believes that he is the Most High. Okay, which will lead these people into damnation. Okay, so again, he departs from the Most High because first of all, he doesn't believe in him. And he doesn't teach the people the ways of the Lord, the fear of the Lord. Okay? You see, he believes in his own power. He believes in everything is in his own control. He controls everything. Okay? His destiny, his life, everything is in the power of his hands. Okay? That is the pride because, again, the Lord, our life is in his hands. Our life was lent unto us by the Lord. Okay? It says here, his heart is turned away from his maker. For pride is the beginning of sin. Okay, because again, you don't fear the Lord. You don't fear the consequence of breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, so there you continue on. You continue in the way that leads unto death. Okay, because the wages of sin is death. Okay, so by being prideful, by not reverencing Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, by not having faith, okay, that he is, it's also you not having fear of the consequences, fear of disobedience. Okay, which again, pride will lead unto disobedience, which will lead unto which is synonymous to witchcraft. Okay, so pride is the beginning of sin, and he that had it shall pour out abomination. Okay, so if you have pride, of course you can't, because again, the Lord loves the humble. If you're humble, you will submit yourself to the Most High, because you understand that there is a higher power above you. Okay, you'll understand that no, you can't do whatever you want. There's rules and regulations that you must abide by. Okay, that was put in place by your maker, which is Yahweh. Okay, you see, and being his son, being his child, okay, being renewed in your mind, you seek to follow him. Okay, as it says, as it was in your mind to go astray from the Lord. Okay, because back in the days we were walking as the Gentiles. Okay, back when we were in the world without the knowledge, without Hamashiach. Okay, we were walking in pride. We were walking in sin, in darkness. Okay, without the knowledge of the Lord, but now being renewed, coming back to our understanding, coming back to our heritage, coming back to who we are. Okay, we understand that we must humble ourselves. Okay, in the sense, the act of repentance is an act of, it is in itself an humble act. Because first you have to acknowledge your fault. You have to acknowledge your sins. You have to acknowledge that your way, the ways that you were walking in was wrong. And then you return. You look back towards Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, and you understand, and you acknowledge that his way is the correct way. You acknowledge that you have to follow him. Okay? And therefore you submit yourself to the Lord and flee from the devil. Okay? You resist the devil and he will flee from you. Okay, because now you're walking in the fear of the Lord. You're walking after righteousness, and he can't take you down. You're not walking in his battlefield anymore. And that starts with the fear of the Lord, and that starts with you, with the inward, okay, the inward man, the fruits of the Spirit, okay, the fruits of the Spirit, which one is to be humble, to acknowledge your faults, and to turn back to the Lord. Okay, so for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that had it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. Okay, the Lord had cast down the throne of the proud, the the Lord had cast down the throne of the proud princes and set the meek in their stead. Okay, the Lord will place the, as it says, the earth, the meek shall inherit the earth. Okay, the Lord will cast down the proud. Okay, the day of the Lord is to humble the haughty, to make them acknowledge that, hey, there is a power. Okay, we're nothing but vain men. Okay, and we have to submit. Because again, at the end of the day, everyone will have to go through the fire. Okay, but it says what? We are punished now so that we may not be destroyed with those that are in the world. Roughly paraphrasing. Okay? It says here. It says here in Philippians 2, and I'll start at 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Hamashiach Yahushai. Again, Yahushua told that the rich man, if you want to be perfect, follow me. Sell what you have and follow me. Give up your own ambitions, okay, and give your life unto Yahweh Bashim Shai. See, he that will lose his life for my name's sake, that is in the spiritual and in the carnal sense, okay? That means putting Yahweh Shai first, okay? It says that hate your own life. If you don't hate your own life, okay, you can't be Yahweh Shai's disciple, okay? And that's what everything else that comes in between. Okay. As a matter of fact, you can't allow anything to come between you and Yahweh Shai, between you and salvation. Okay. You see, you humble yourself to the will of the Lord. Okay. So you put your own ambitions, your own desires, you put them in the back burner so that you can serve the Lord effectively, according to what He wants, according to His purpose, according to the purpose that you have been created to serve Him in fear and trembling, to seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. It says here, let this mind be in you, which was also in Hamashiach Yahushai, who being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High, but made himself of no reputation. Okay, he humbled himself. He took upon him the form of a servant and was made in the likeness of man. Okay, see, because again, Yahushai is the embodiment of the word of the Most High, of Yahweh. Okay, okay, when he was sitting at the right hand of the Most High. He was brought up. He was brought up by Yahweh. Okay, from the beginning. At one point, Yahweh said, "Give me the glory that you gave me from the beginning. Give me the glory that you gave me in the beginning." Okay, and now Yahweh being sitting, now Yahweh sitting at the right hand of the Most High. He will inherit that glory. But again, he had to go through his walk in the earth as Yahweh. During that reincarnation, he had to suffer. Okay, he had to put on, he had to come in as one without no reputation from Nazareth, from the hood, as they would say in layman's terms, in today's terms. Yahushua came from the hood. He came from the bottom, as they would say. Okay? People looked down on him. He had no formal education. He was the son of a carpenter. Okay? A man that was not supposed to have renown, okay, according to the world standards. But in the sight of Yahweh Bashem, in the sight of Yahweh, in the sight of the Most High, he was beloved. Okay, the testament of Yahweh Shai was that he was beloved of the Most High, and that is what we aspire to be in the sight of the Lord. That's why we are following after this walk. That's why we're walking the straight path, so that we can be found as friends of the Most High, just as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all the righteous men be after them. Okay, and elect lady after them. Okay. So it says here, and being found in a fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Wherefore, okay, so he humbled himself. Wherefore, the Most High also had highly exalted him. So Yahweh Shai humbled himself. On the earth is as if he took the shorter end of the stick. Okay. You see, it's as if he took the shorter end of the stick so he would lost in the flesh so that he could win in the spirit. Okay, so that he could win in the long run. Okay, he humbled himself in this flesh so that he could win in the long run. Okay, so wherefore the Most High also had exalted him and given him a name which is above every name. And you have to put that in consideration. You have to understand that Yahushua didn't humble himself for naught. There was a purpose for that humbling. Okay, the same way that in the same way that as we're being humbled and going through these adversities, affliction, and tribulation, is for the greater purpose of strengthening our spirit. It says mortify your members, meaning your fleshy desires, so that you can feed the spirit. The outward man perisheth daily, but the inward man is renewed day by day. Okay, it's your spirit that keeps you going. Okay, because eventually these people in the world, their spirit is not being fed. Imagine their I forget how you call that. Oh yeah, their spirits their spirit is anorexic. They haven't eaten in ages. Since they were some people, since they were born, they haven't eaten. Okay, some of our people, the Israelites, since they were born, they were in darkness. Their spirit hasn't been fed. Okay, or rather, they were fed GMO doctrines. Okay, they were fed with improper food that were not conducive to life. Okay, you see, they were not fed with the proper knowledge. But us, through the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we have the correct doctrine. We have the proper food, and we are being fed. We're being healed. Okay, we're being nourished up by wisdom, by the fear of the Most High, by the real doctrine. Okay, by the Spirit of truth. Okay, and through that Spirit, we understand that we must humble ourselves. We understand that we cannot do it by ourselves. We understand that we need Yahushua. We understand that we must humble ourselves as faithful servants to obtain salvation. All right. So the Lord loves the meek. He loves the humble, and he resisteth the proud. Okay. So put that into consideration for your walk. Okay. Look at all the great men of Yahweh Hashem Shai. Okay. And the one characteristics that you can find in the majority of them, okay, if not all of them, is that they were humble. Okay. Some of them might boast in this or that. Some of them might be a bit arrogant in their knowledge. Okay. But all in all, they were humble. Okay. Because again, the Lord would have resisted them if they were proud. Okay. If anything, it wouldn't have been pride, but rather confidence in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that these men had. Not pride, confidence. They had faith that the Lord was with them, and that's why they moved with so much aura, as they would say in this time. They would move with such authority. They would move with such assurance that they would succeed in their endeavors because the Lord sent them, because the Lord was with them, and they could not doubt it. Okay, so in the world they might look at us like we're proud, but no, we're confident. We have righteous pride, right? Compared to the people in the world where they have pride that comes within themselves. It's pride within their own. It's pride that comes from within. Okay, but our pride comes not from us, but comes from the assurance that the Lord is dealing with us. That's where our pride comes from. Okay, so again, it's not wicked pride, but righteous pride, because again, pride is when one departed from the Maker. But our pride comes from the fact that we are with the Lord, that we are serving Him, and that He's dealing with us. Okay. So again, humble yourself, humble yourself through the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, through adversity, through persecution, through heartaches, through hardships. Okay. Knowing that the Lord is dealing with you. Okay. And again, looking towards the author and finisher of our faith. Okay. That Yahushua, that after all his afflictions, and after his hour of tribulation, he was sitting at the right hand of the Most High. Okay, so arm yourself with the same mind as Yahushua HaMashiach. Lord willing, this was edifying, straight, quick, to the point. Until next lesson, Shalom.